Hello. I am about a minute early because I want to make sure everything's working. So give me just a moment if you join me in this minute, and we will get started once I confirm that we are live and fully functioning as we ought to be. I'm watching on my computer to check. So I'll also give people a minute to get here. Okay, it does look like it's working, which is good. And hopefully it will continue working. I do apologize in advance, or for those who watch this on replay. I think the words might be backwards. I still haven't figured out the new place that Facebook has their orientation option. And so the words in the catalog might be backwards. I see someone is here live though, so let's get started. So I am Hannah with Hannah Crafted Gifts. Welcome to my catalog launch party for Stampin' Up's newest annual catalog that launched today. So you might notice, if you've been to these parties before, I may have more Post-it notes than ever before. And that's because this catalog is really quite different than what we've been used to, at least the last several years that I've been working with Stampin' Up. I just celebrated my 5th official consecutive anniversary of Stampin' Up, although I first became a demonstrator about 7 years ago. Tried 3 years in a row, if you don't know my story, to make it work. And here I am, thanks to many of you, 5 years later, consistently being able to run this as a side business. So hello, Anna. I'd love to know who's watching from where, whether you're live or on replay. That's one of the best things about these Facebook Live videos, is being able to see a reaction. So you can click the reaction, like emotion things. You can also type into the chat, and not only chat with me, but chat with one another, I hope, too. So I'm glad you can be here tonight, Anna. We're actually going to see a project from Anna that she shared at a recent swap that I was part of. And so we're going to see lots of product tonight from the new catalog. We're going to see some projects from the new catalog. And then at the end, I will be talking about prizes, because there are a couple ways you can win prizes. One does require purchases, but one does not. So anyway, hold on to the end, or make sure you fast forward to and rewind back to hear the end to know about those prizes. But first, we're going to start through my many notes here in the catalog. So let's get right into it, because there is a lot to cover, and I try to do these in an hour. We'll see how that goes tonight. So first of all, I just really want to highlight the cover of this catalog. So there's been some worry recently that Stampin' Up, as they do more and more online, might be moving away from in-person gatherings. And I think this cover says it all. So they work on catalogs years in advance. And so we know that for years they have been planning to highlight gathering. And I think now is a very appropriate time, because they are updating their website and they are expanding their online offering. And we're going to talk about how the online store is now an even greater complement to the hard copy catalog. So I think it comes at a really good time that there's that reassuring picture of this is still about, and this is straight from Stampin' Up, what they say, and also what I believe for my business too. This is all about relationships and experiences, and then product. And we're actually going to look right on the inside page. We always have a message from the family that started this all. So Shelley Gardner, who's the current board chair and also the original one of the co-founders of Stampin' Up. And then her daughter, Sarah Douglas, is our current CEO. And I've had the privilege to meet them both. And they are really, truly as lovely in person as they seem, from like their social media and the videos Stampin' Up puts out, and messages like are in the catalog here. But one of the things they say in this message, I'm just going to read it, is the pages that follow are filled with products, ... But here's what those products mean. Opportunities to create meaningful moments and experiences to share with others. So I really, really love that. That is their vision, and that is mine as well. So yeah, let's keep going right through. So many fun things. So as I mentioned, this catalog is very different from the rest. So I think this table of contents is maybe all the more helpful than usual, because it actually shows the new, at least terminology for the types of crafters that this catalog is speaking to. So, there's different crafting experiences, and depending on where you are in, your creativity, in just maybe like your life circumstance in terms of how much time and energy you have, how much, maybe budget you have for this, you may find yourself kind of flowing back and forth and through these different craft experiences. So the first one, and that'll be the first section we'll look at in the catalog, is step-by-step crafting. This is also called choreographed crafting, so we're going to see a lot with our kits there. And then you can move up, so to speak, into quick and easy options, which is what we used to refer to as casual crafting, and still do. But quick and easy really speaks to what that means. And then finally, most of the catalog, most of the annual catalog at least, is what's now called Creativity Your Way, or what we're used to calling avid crafting. So people who want it all, want to do all sorts of different things, because maybe we do have a little more to invest in this, in terms of, time to do different techniques, and that gives us energy. And maybe we're demonstrators, we want to show this to others, although you certainly don't have to be a demonstrator to be an avid crafter. But remember too, you don't have to run a business to be a demonstrator. It can just be a way of getting a discount and lots of other benefits on your hobby. So anyway, we're going to move through the catalog in those 3 categories. And again, even though I would say I like to be an avid crafter, there are times where I need those quick and easy options. And if you have been doing anything with me, that I love kits for lots of reasons. And so that step-by-step crafting, I find myself doing all of it at just different times for different reasons. But I also want to point out here, there's just some icons that we'll be looking through as we go through the catalog. So the QR codes are going to be more important than ever, because again, the online store is going to be a real companion to this catalog. I'll talk about that in a moment. The different languages, you'll see that Spanish is still a language that we are going to be offering stamps in. There's 1 stamp set in this catalog, and the more of those we sell, the more we might see of Spanish stamp sets in the future. But we, as has always been the case, have, of course, English and then also French. So you can see which sets come in which languages. They all come in English, but then some will come in French, and that one comes in Spanish. And then it has this little shopping cart with the heart symbol. And those are samples in the catalog that may feature products that are shown more completely in our online store. So let me talk about that for a moment. I'm going to set this down because it's going to get heavy. Gosh, that makes me seem weak. But it's a big catalog. All right, so what I will just say I noticed most about this catalog, and I got to see this at Onstage in Houston back in March. We had a great presentation from Jill, our VP of sales, about the changes in the new catalog. So what to expect, and more importantly, why. And I'm going to try to share what I remember of that with you while I fix my hair here. But basically, my impression of what I heard, and Stampin' Up! Did not say this exactly, but my impression of what I heard and then what I've experienced with the new catalog is, more than ever before, the catalog is becoming an inspiration book. It's always been that way, and I've always loved that about it. It's not just a place to shop for product, it's a place to get ideas for what to do with that product through the samples, through even some there'll be little script, notes almost doodled in a notebook that'll talk about techniques and stuff like that. That's much more explicit and much more prevalent in this catalog than ever before. So I think this is now a place to shop, but more so than ever, and maybe almost as much or more than a place to shop, it is a place to find inspiration for what to do, not just what to make, but then how to share what you make with what you buy. And then I think the online store, for at least those who are comfortable shopping online, is going to be that main place to shop, because that's where everything is going to be. Because for a while now, we've had online exclusive products that you can't find in any catalog. And then there are even some products that might be in this catalog but just aren't highlighted as much or in the same way as they used to be in catalogs. So anyway, we'll talk more about that as we go through. But I think if you think of it as an inspiration book and a shopping companion, but then really think of that online store as maybe the main place to shop, like the storefront of Stampin' Up, so to speak, then that will help you appreciate it more. My friends who are demonstrators who are maybe at Onstage or have watched all demonstrators, had access to a video from another one of our VPs, this time for marketing, Corey, to kind of talk through these changes. Please feel free to add in anything that I'm kind of missing about that. All right, so I'm going to try to hold this far enough back, and again, sorry if you're seeing it backwards. I did post about 7:30 tonight the link to the PDF online, so if you don't have a hard copy to follow along, you can just look at the last Facebook post before this live video and find that there. Elisa, oh, my special friend, so good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. I was excited when I saw your RSVP. So yeah, keep the comments coming as we go through about what you think of this new catalog. So this first section starts on page 5, is the step-by-step crafting. Like I said, this is choreographed crafting. We used to say it was beginner crafting, but again, I've been doing this a long time now. Not that I'm, the best, but I'm not a beginner. I'm not starting out. I've been doing it. And I still enjoy the occasional choreographed, maybe more than occasional choreographed crafting experience or step-by-step crafting. So I think there's, when you're short on time, maybe when you're short on budget or space for your crafts, or short on energy, just want to be able to follow instructions, this is a great place to come. So it says all-inclusive themed projects with step-by-step instructions for relaxed creative experience that's fun for all ages. That's another good thing about step-by-step. It can be good for the younger ones who actually get featured a lot in this catalog. So then after the kind of intro page to each crafting experience, there's this page that really illustrates what that experience might look like. So this might be a couple friends or maybe family members, neighbors gathered together over, a cup of coffee or, just some time together where they can pull out a kit and be doing that while they're catching up, while they're having their coffee or other drink or snack or whatever the case may be. So really approachable, really accessible. Talks about how, this type of crafting is portable and convenient. We get to craft and connect because, you're not focused on, maybe figuring something out on your own or something complicated, just following those directions so you can really be focused on the other person with you. And you're sharing the fun because these make great gifts. So whether this is your type of crafting or not, this might be a great thing to give to someone. We have Mother's Day coming up, birthdays, holidays, thank yous, thinking of yous. Send them a kit with a card that you made, and then they can make the rest and continue to pass that gift on. So the first kits we come to on pages 8 and 9 are the kits collection. Now, these are coming out 2 kits a month now, starting in 2024. And there were 2 new kits released today because they're usually released on the first day of the month. So last month we got to see this kind of pet themed kit, which now I can't remember the name of, but I talked about that in my last Newsday Tuesday video. We also got to see the Hooray for Honeycomb. That one I remember the name of because we got that one as a gift at Onstage. These 2 had come out the month before, another card kit, just like the 2 that came out in April, but then also this toy, like kids toy kit that makes these little like cup and ball toys to play with. So they're coming out with lots of different types of kits too. I'll show you on the next page. So you can see all the kits collection. These are just a few examples, and they're available while supplies last, so these could sell out, but we'll be seeing 2 new kits every month, continuing the rest of this year. So definitely check out the online store, and there's a QR code right there to see all of those, including the ones that came out today. So I had noticed before today, because I had access to this catalog early, of course, as a demonstrator, that there was a little sneak peek of a kit we hadn't seen yet. And today we found out what that was. So I got excited because it kind of looks like a big city. And I live here in New Jersey, basically in the suburbs of the city, as people say, New York City. So I'm trying to sign in on my computer because I had these names pulled up. But if you go to the online store and go to Kits Collection, you'll see them there. So it's called City Sights Kit. It's 8 cards for each of 2 designs. And again, you can actually see both of the finished cards right there. So what a great sneak peek. Again, us demonstrators had. And then the other kit that released today is the Hello Hollyhocks kit. Stampin' Up loves their flowers, and I think it's so funny. I thought, they're going to run out of flowers someday, but they've redone some flowers, and there's so many flowers. I don't even know how many. They probably couldn't run out. But Hollyhocks, what a name. I mean, it's a very pretty flower, but it's kind of a funny name to me. So I just think that's funny that that's what they're at. They're at Hollyhocks and they embraced it. Hello, Hollyhocks. So that one's actually a non-stamping kit. So it'll come with pre-printed sentiments on labels. And actually the City Sights kit is stamping, but it also has pre-printed sentiment labels because the stamps are that cityscape and some background texture stamping. And so obviously the kits with stamping come with a block and an ink pad and one of those little mini ink spots and stamps. So because that's reusable, they're more expensive, but the other kits that are non-stamping, like Hello Hollyhocks, those are less expensive because they don't have those non-consumable items. And so you can get a better deal that way. So I'm talking a lot about kits. I got to keep moving. There's lots more. But page 10, you see a little bit more and hear a little bit more about kits. And page 11 is where you hear about Paper Pumpkin. So don't forget Paper Pumpkin. That's the subscription-based kits, which you don't have to be committed to a subscription for. You can buy prepaid codes for as little as 1 month, and that way you're not set up for a monthly subscription that you have to manage. Although you can always suspend, just pausing. You can always cancel, and they have 100% satisfaction guarantee, or your money back if you don't love it. And so the next kit coming out in what month are we in? May, just in time for Father's Day in June, is called The Best There Is, and it's a more masculine, traditionally masculine style kit. It actually coordinates with one of the sweets in the catalog, which we'll see later. In case I forget, it's the country something sweet. We'll get there. So yes, don't forget about Paper Pumpkin, and you always have to subscribe by the 10th of the month. So if that kit for May sounded interesting to you, make sure you're getting your subscription set by the 10th, because then they'll mail out on the 11th and you'll have it about a week later. So those are always getting us ready for the next holiday or occasion. All right, so that's it for the first section. Small but mighty, and again, lots more online to see there. The reason they don't put much in the catalog is because it is always being added to with the different kits. So the next section is quick and easy options, which starts on page 13. And this is combining products for simple, satisfying, creative moments and personalized paper crafts. So you can see some samples and examples here. On the next page, we see that kind of lifestyle image of what this crafting experience could look like. Of course, it could look a lot of different ways. But here we've got what I presume is a mom doing some crafting at the coffee table while her partner and her son maybe are in the kitchen. By the way, I love the traditional gender roles reversed there, because I have an old board game, quick tangent, I have an old board game from like probably the 50s of Battleship, and it's dad and son playing Battleship, and mom and daughter, I am not joking, in the background in the kitchen washing dishes. Tells you something about the times, right? Not that there's anything wrong with washing dishes or playing Battleship, but yeah, certainly very gender specific. So anyway, it could certainly be dad here crafting, just like mom and daughter can play Battleship. But here you get to pick and choose. You get to craft a stash, they say. So maybe craft, you know, several. I think you can do that with kits too, but certainly with this as well, you can make multiple projects quickly for upcoming events and occasions. And it says more fun in less time, and maybe in less space too. And so let's take a look. So this is actually, well, I guess we'll get there. First, we've got some crafting essentials for, again, maybe the casual or quick and easy crafter. So if you are just getting started and you're moving beyond kits, which come with everything you need included in the box, these are some things you might want to invest in, and it wouldn't cost you much to invest in. Just some basics that will help you on your stamping experience. And I love that Stampin' Up! Did this. So not to be self-serving, but I mean, I didn't print it. Stampin' Up! Did. Number 10 out of 10 in the top 10 crafting essentials is your demonstrator. So that would be me for many of you, or I know some of you are demonstrators. And so I love that they did that for us, saved the best for last and included us. So again, you know, they're not moving away from in-person gathering to go on online. They're not moving away from the relationship with your demonstrator by going all online. You still, when you shop online, choose a demonstrator. And I hope if you don't have another demonstrator or aren't a demonstrator, you'll select me, Hannah Bird, at checkout. And that way, not only does that help my small business, but then I can help you, because that's what I enjoy. I love what I do and want to share what I love, which is actually on the back of the catalog, our statement of the heart, to love what we do and share what we love. I really do feel that way. As we help others enjoy creativity and worthwhile accomplishments, in this we make a difference. And I love that they have that on the back. Again, Stampin' Up! Is a values-based company, and I align so much with so many of them, and that's why I work with them. So anyway, love the little shout out from Stampin' Up! There. All right, so then this is an all new product line. So even for those of you who've been around a long time, you might get excited about the new things, even if they are a little simpler than maybe some of the more avid things that you've gotten into. It's still something new. And again, when you have maybe less time, less energy, or you're traveling so you have less space, or maybe you have less space at home, but I know a lot of you who've been doing this a long time have bigger studios than I am creating here. But anyway, you might enjoy this mix and match product line. So it starts with packs of cards and envelopes, and there's two different ones here. Some are more traditionally feminine, some are more traditionally masculine, or gender neutral. Then you can add in an ephemera pack, and so these are pre-printed and cut images and even sentiments. So we have the saying something, that's the sentiments, something for everything. It's a bunch of different imagery, fully flowering, obviously flower imagery, and then labels and layers. And then you can also add stamped sentiments if you'd like. So there's this simple, versatile set we actually had to use at Onstage, Simply Said. And that's just one example, but of course you could have any sentiment or image stamps that you wanted to add in with these things, but you wouldn't have to, because of course you have all that in the ephemera packs as well. So let me show you, we made a couple of these as Make and Takes at Onstage. So if you watched what I shared from there, you've already seen these, but this is only using what you just saw on page 19. So it does use the stamp set, so I guess it did use an ink pad, the Memento ink pad for the black ink, but otherwise just what you saw on page 19, and you wouldn't even need that. We could have used the saying something ephemera pack and had it pre-printed. Again, I did this one when I came home, so this used a stamp set I had at home, but again, that same Memento black ink, so you can add in those other sentiments stamps. And I should be showing you these envelopes too. Really pretty envelopes because they are patterned inside and out. So extra special, I think. All right, so then I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Still staying in the quick and easy options. This is where we get into the inspiration book, right? So far it's been talking about products. Now we're going to be talking about what to do with those products. So we have basic card design, and this shares some of the different layering. Stampin' Up! Style is known for layering. Hi, Lisa. I'm so glad you joined. Please all be commenting so I know what you're thinking, and you can chat with one another too. I love to interact on this. So let people know where you're from, because I know where y'all are from. Although sometimes people pop on here I don't know, which I love, new friends. So let people know where you're from, what you think as we go through. So Stampin' Up! Style is kind of known for its layers. I tend to like a little simpler with a little less layering, although I'm trying to stretch myself with that. But this talks about some of the different layers you might add to a card. And then down here, this is page 22, my lucky number. It has all these different, how many does it say? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 22. Well, 22 on page 22, there you go. 22 different card layouts. And so these will show you, different ways you could place different shaped pieces and even embellishments like ribbons and things like that to have a good template. And you'll actually see throughout the catalog these little images. I have one marked later that hopefully I'll remember to show you, because you'll see samples that are maybe done in this way, and it'll point out which template it was by having a little template picture there. And then on page 23 it talks about the color family coordination, and so we have actually some of these templates from page 22 seen in the card samples here as they talk a little bit about the different products we have for our subtles, our brights, our regals, and our neutrals collection, but more on that later. So let's see, is there more in the quick and easy section I wanted to show you? Yes. So going back to the index, I'm still referencing that myself as I learn about this new layout of this catalog. So we talked about in the quick and easy options section, the top 10 crafting essentials, the easy product coordination, basic card design, and then it gets into reasons to craft. So starting on page maybe 24, certainly 25, it's talking about reasons to craft, like just because, love and support, saying thanks, and birthday celebrations. I'm curious, which samples do you like the best? Mine are the birthday celebrations. I really like these two samples. These are like long birthday candles, which I think is a clever way to use your leftover strips. But I'd love to know which samples you all like the most on that page 25. Sorry if I misspoke the page numbers earlier. But then it continues on the pages after that, the different reasons to craft. One reason might be memory making. So there's the Memories and More cards, and those can be used to make cards as well. I got these Thoughtful Journey Memories and More card pack, and I showed those on my most recent unboxing video. I have them here, but if you want to see all of them front and back, we don't have time, so check out my last unboxing video to see those. But those are also great for photo journaling or scrapbooking. And so that's what these couple pages are talking about. Another reason to craft. Another reason to craft is packaging. So on page 28, it shows wrapping it up with our little boxes, and maybe even making your own little packages and gift tags and things like that. Also, it shows the Frames and Flowers Specialty Designer Series paper, which I wanted to point out. This is one of 2 Specialty Designer Series papers. There's other specialty papers, but 2 specialty DSPs in this catalog that are going to be priced a little differently. This one's actually less than a pack of non-specialty DSP. It's $10 instead of $12.50, but you only get 6 sheets instead of 12. However, 3 of the sheets are a little different. So you have these ones down here, which are the double-sided designs, but then you have 2 die-cut sheets with these frames and flower images, so kind of like ephemera packs. And then this sheet of card fronts that you would cut out these frame and pattern pieces and be able to use those on card fronts or for scrapbooking, whatever you'd want to use that size for. It looks like that would be, it'd be 4 by 4. I don't know, because it has this strip across the middle too. So I don't know how wide that strip is, but let's say, well, it wouldn't be 4 by 4 because they're rectangles. So maybe like 4 by 5 inch squares. we'll see. I'm getting that soon. All the DSP I don't have yet. I have about half of it. I'm going to show you tonight, or you've already seen it on my unboxings, because that's all we could order in pre-order. But then the other half I'm going to get today. So you'll see that in my next unboxing video. All right, so already on page 31, we are at the main, I guess, audience for this catalog. So everyone has a place, but because most of Stampin' Up's shoppers, I suppose, are going to tend towards this Avid or Creativity Your Way experience, most of the catalog is that. And so this is a wide range of coordinating products, helpful tools, and innovative techniques to put you in full creative control. And if you look at, I mean, first of all, I just love, I love like the rainbow of product. But then if you look at the example of what Creativity Your Way can look like, it is one of us in a studio surrounded by crafts. And so it talks about how this is where you can dream big, your creativity is unlimited, you can really get inspired. And again, this book is a great place to start or come back to for that. Lisa, you think it's 4 by 5 1/4, and it's a 1 1/2 strip in the middle. Good guess. Okay, so perhaps that is correct. We will see. We will see soon when we get that. Someone got that at On Stage as one of the prize patrols. If you're here, let us know. All right, so the first thing you see in the Creativity Your Way section of the catalog are the suites. So this is a new format change for this catalog. All of the suites are in one place, which I like. And so we start with the Mediterranean Bloom suite. And another thing they've changed is the samples that you'll see for each suite highlight different parts of the suite. So for instance, you have, I believe it's this card that highlights the stamps. This card highlights the bundle, the stamp and dies. This card highlights the dies. So stamps, dies, both in the bundle, which if you don't know, a bundle is 10% off both those items, stamps and its tool. In this case, dies, it could be a punch. This highlights the designer series paper, and then this highlights everything in the suite. So you do still have a sample that highlights everything, but then you have samples that highlight each piece individually, because you can buy these things a la carte, or you can save yourself time with just the one SKU number up here at the top to buy the whole suite collection. So suites will usually have a stamp set, a tool like die or punch, designer series paper, and an embellishment. So I do have the DSP for this next suite, and I also have a sample to show you. This is the Take to the Sky suite collection. And so real quick, and for longer, closer up looks at all this, check out my last unboxing video. But I'm going to show you really quickly all the DSP for this suite. I'm just going to hold it like that. So you've got some card fronts and cards and even travel tags on this, and then some patterns of airplanes and skies and maps. And then here's the back. More maps and some patterns. And so I think more traditionally masculine, or certainly gender neutral, a good theme. I love to travel, so I like that. Next we have the To Market suite collection. This is another one I couldn't get the DSP for yet, so you'll see that coming soon. Wildly Flowering, which reminds me of another DSP we had that retired. So if you liked that DSP with the flowers on it, there's more for you. There's always more flowers. Which suite do you like? The Take to the Sky, Anna, which by the way, I told you I had a sample for and I forgot. Glad Anna reminded me. All right, so this is from my friend Sharon Abrams. And first of all, you can see it says flying by to say hi. I love the kind of like in-theme puns. And then it says pull here because the plane flies by. How cool is that? It's a little hard to do at this angle, but so fun. Such a fun interactive card. And the inside says, you're the best, plain and simple, which is my favorite stamp in that set. All right, so the next suite is Full of Life, and this is one of my favorites. I love this DSP. It reminds me of Color Theory, which this catalog is kind of all about too. I'll talk about that more when we get to the back. But let me show you this DSP real quickly. And again, this was my Prize Patrol prize from On Stage. So to see more of this, check out my post about that. My recap video, I think I showed all this up close when I not unboxed it, unwrapped it, I guess. But such pretty colors. I love it so much. I actually haven't played with that yet. I've had it all this time. Been busy. Lisa, you said you like the Wildly Flowering. All right, Lily Pond Lane. I mean, I just say, how cute is this sample with the koi fish and then the goldfish in a package. So I love that idea. I know my friend Leslie Ann got that DSP as her prize patrol. All right, and then Thoughtful Journey. This is my other favorite suite in the catalog. And this has a designer series paper and a specialty paper, a specialty designer series paper. So let's look at both. So let's see, I need to be setting these things aside a little better. So first, this is the DSP, and it's all these beautiful watercolor scenes. This is gonna be hard to fan out and hold. Let's see how this goes. I need to create like an actual kind of fan with it, I think, to hold it all. All right, I know you can't see it all real well, but you can at least see the colors and the style, and then there's the back side, which just kind of washes, and maybe some up close on botanicals. Really, really pretty. And then the specialty paper, you get 5 sheets. They are single-sided, but they are these beautiful ombre. And hopefully you can see the kind of shiny kind of vine or leaf on each of those. Such pretty colors. Obviously coordinate with the colors in the standard DSP in this suite. And again, this has memories and more cards too. Don't forget those. Those are not included with the suite, so you have to get those separately, but they perfectly coordinate as part of Thoughtful Journeys. All right, so then we get into some what we call mega suites, which are going to have 2 bundles, so 2 stamp sets, each with their tool, in this case dies. So this is the Country Woods suite. This is the one I mentioned earlier that actually coordinates with this Maze paper pumpkin. And so I have a sample from Anna. I think I mentioned that earlier. I'll show that. We also have 2 DSPs here to check out. It's a tongue twister. So first, the sample. So again, this is my friend Anna Matthias, and it is a fancy fold. Let me see if I can get it. Okay, here we go. So you can see a lot of that beautiful DSP and one of the stamp sets, and a great fold on that. So thank you, Anna. And here's the DSP. So first you have the Country Woods DSP. I know there's going to be wood grain in this month's paper pumpkin. I can't believe it's May. I can't believe I'm saying this month about May. All right, am I missing a page here? Yes. Where did it go? It's hiding. Okay. There we go. So some different color wood grains, like even some actual color, not just neutrals, but like some blues and pinks. And so that's kind of fun. But still, I would say a pretty subdued palette. And then the Country Lace, probably even more so. You do have some of those same colors, the blues and the pinks, but also just some really soft like grays and beige, which we're going to talk more about, a new color that we surprisingly got. So again, for up closes on this, check out my unboxing video, and I talk more about my reaction to it. You can also, again, check out the online store, because you'll be able to see each sheet kind of as big as your screen will get. But also they've made the DSP bigger in the catalog. Notice that? You're seeing like much more of it, which I really like that they're doing that, because I'm all about the DSP and it was kind of hard to shop in the catalog before, so now it's easier. All right, the other mega suite is Unbounded Beauty, and I have this DSP to show you as well. And the embellishment, which I'm going to talk more about. This has a specialty paper too, but it's not a specialty DSP, and so I don't have that to show you. It's the In Color Glimmer specialty paper, and so it's not a pattern paper, it's just like a glimmer paper in the new In Colors, which I've talked about so many times. But if you haven't already seen, say 'em with me. Pretty in Pink, Peach Pie, Shy Shamrock, Petunia Pop, and Summer Splash. And to make sure I got those right, because in this light, it's a little hard to distinguish in the camera. But Shy Shamrock is more green, Summer Splash is a little more blue, like kind of like in the, well, let me show you. I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm gonna show you my color wheel, which you've seen if you've been following me anyway, but I'll talk more about this later. But you can kind of see the difference here. So Summer Splash is more like Coastal Cabana and Pool Party, just a little darker. And where's Shy Shamrock? Shy Shamrock is here. So more green. Anyway. All right, moving right along. That is the suites. Oh, but I wanted to show you, before I move on, the Unbounded Beauty DSP. So this DSP has all of the In Colors, all 5 of those new In Colors in it. And then, of course, the embellishments are all about that. Those, by the way, so there's a couple different In Color embellishments. The ones I showed you are the in color resin dots, and I will talk more about them later because you may be able to win them. You like the peach, Anna? I love that you love the peach. I was one of the few peach lovers on stage. All right, so then starting on page 56, it talks a little bit about them, but really on 57, it talks more about bundles. 56 is talking about the machines, or Stampin' die cut and emboss machines, which you would need to use certain bundle tools like dies and also embossing folders. But this first bundle is a really special one. So on page 57, this is the Layers of Beauty bundle. First of all, we have a new format for this too. So at the top, it's going to tell you the name of the bundle. And you can see there, 10% off, and you get 10% off, again, both the stamp set and the tool, in this case, dies, and masks. So that's why this is such a special bundle, because it's not just two things, it's three. It's a stamp set and two tools, dies and masks. It's very similar to the Enduring Beauty bundle that just retired, which I'd used in the past. So if you've been following, you've seen me use that. The masks help you build up all the color of the flowers from kind of, you know, the most color to some more detail down to the centers, and then the same thing with the leaves. And I really love this floral image because it's roses and daisies, I think, and has some good sentiments too, like happy anniversary, grateful for you, make my heart smile, God bless. This was actually $1 million Sales Achievers stamp set, so it was designed in part by Shelley Godby, who reached $1 million in sales. Good for her. You like masks, Lisa? Or you love masks? I'd love to hear why. I like them a lot too. So yeah, so really special bundle, but you have the name of the bundle at the top. Then in the center here, you have the breakdown of the SKU number that you need to shop and the price for the stamp set, plus, in this case, the masks and dies. And then down here, you see the stamp set just like it comes in its box. So this is what the front of your case, rather, looks like on your stamp set. And then you see all the die cut images a little bigger than maybe you did in the past. And again, in this case, we have the masks as well. And you have, once again, the names, the SKU numbers, and the prices for each individual item. So if you don't want all of them, and to save that 10%, you can buy them individually. If you're going to buy them all, but definitely buy them at 10% off. I've occasionally thought, oh, I'm just going to get the stamp set, or I'm just going to get the tool. And then later I go back and get the other one, and I'm like, I missed out 10% on both. But sometimes you really do just want one. All right, on the next pages, 58 and 59, we see that we are being given a choice. Die, punch, or both. So for a couple of these bundles, you can decide, do you want 3 of these labeled with love dies? Or for the same price, do you want a punch that would punch out one of them? What's better for you, dies or punches? Over here, you have the same exact image, this keeping tabs die or punch. And in this case, because it's just the one die, it would only be $12 as opposed to $23 for the punch. And so it'd be almost half as much to get the die. But it depends. Do you have the die cutting machine? Do you prefer to use punches? Punches take up more space. Dies take up less. For those of us who do classes, sometimes, certainly if you had a die that did 3, it'd be easier to make lots of them for a class. But if you only have a die that does 1, it might be easier to just pass around the punch and let people use it themselves. So there's so many different reasons why you might want one or the other. Or again, I've heard some people say, I'm going to get both. And you can. You can probably only choose one for your bundle, but then you could pay full price for the other one. So get the more expensive one with the bundle and then pay full price for the other one. Anyway, let me see if that's how they do it. Yeah, that's how they do it. It's because they have a different SKU number for the bundle with the punch or the bundle with the die. All right, another thing they've done in this catalog, well, actually, I'll get to that. I have another sample to show you. So I'm only showing you this Hearts and Hugs bundle because this was the one that my friend Leslie Ann Masella used for her swap at our last swap. So it has a bunch of cute animals hugging and having hearts. And so she made this I Could Just Hug You card, and it is also a fancy fold. Check that out. And this actually opens up to reveal your sentiment. Thanks. But it's a good display card as well, because hopefully you can see it would stand up like that. And really shows off this DSP, which we haven't gotten to yet, but this is the in color DSP, which I will show you more later, but this is the Summer Splash color, which is a good, I don't know about summer, but Splash is certainly a good name for what's behind the walrus. I almost said seals. It reminds me of going to SeaWorld back when I was a kid, which I loved to do. All right, so this is what I was going to talk about. And maybe I haven't been mentioning page numbers, but hopefully you're following along because we're not skipping many pages. But on page 64, this is an example of a bundle that is lower cost. So they're also providing us a greater breadth of price points for these bundles. So this one, the cutest onesie, is only a $17 stamp set. It has fewer stamps in it. And then only a $13 die set because it only has a few dies, but it has the ones you need. So I love that they're doing that they're giving more options for more people. Or, you know, if you are someone who has a lot of money to spend on this, it just means you can buy more. Your money goes further. Speaking of shopping, by the way, I wasn't going to mention this one, but the Attention Shoppers bundle, we saw it on stage, and no pun intended, it really sold me. I think it's really fun. And I know Anna, for some reason, this made her think of me. I don't even shop a lot, although for crafts I do. Let's see, Elisa, did she use blends on the walruses? Great coloring. I know, I think she did use blends on the walruses, and it is really well done. Yeah. The blends always look so good to me. Like, I always think, is that DSP? Not that Leslie Ann is not a good colorer, but you don't even have to be with the blends. All right, let's see what's next, because it is more than half time. We have 20 minutes and a lot more to get through. So there's lots of bundles I'm skipping here, with lots of different great themes. Again, traditionally feminine, traditionally masculine, maybe more childlike. I will show you the Seaside Wishes bundle. I always show the beachy stuff because it reminds me of my mom, and really my whole family. We all love the beach. I was just there with them last week, actually. But I'm showing you this one because I have a sample from my friend Lynn Hunt Phones, who always does beautiful work. And so hopefully you can see, it's a little hard in this light, but this is using the embossing folder, because this is actually a hybrid embossing folder. So this is another bundle that comes with stamp set, dies, and an embossing folder. And the hybrid embossing folders mean you can die cut and emboss at the same time. So these are embossed, these sand dollars. And she's also embossed the background and stamped and used some specialty paper and some embellishments. And this is ripped for some distressing. And of course has a sentiment and stamping on the inside too. Sometimes the simplest things mean the most. So true. Lovely card, lovely bundle. All right, so then on page 74, we have the Encore. So in past catalogs, we had old and new product, you know, so product that carried over with the brand new product just mixed all together. And the way we could tell the difference is, if you remember, there was a little red N for new on the things that were brand new, starting with that catalog. That is no more. So I would say most, if not all, of the catalog up to this point has been new. From here on out, it can get a little mixed and you don't have that N. So if you want to see everything that's new, here's what I recommend. Again, the main place to shop from now on, the storefront for Stampin' Up! Is no longer, and it really hasn't been for a while, the catalog. It is the online store. There's a lot here, but everything's there. And so if you go to the online store and you go shop product, shop all, and then sort by newest as opposed to like price low to high or A to Z, sort by newest, you'll see all the new things first. And then when you start to see familiar things, you know you've reached the Encore. But here they've grouped most of the carryover product that they're showing in this catalog in these few pages. So again, starting on page 74, we see a lot of the bundles that are carrying over. And that goes on and on and on until page 80. But again, that's not everything that's carrying over. In fact, one thing I haven't mentioned yet, and just in case I was not going to get to it later, there's a lot of DSP that carried over. So it used to be no DSP carried over. Then there was like one or two maybe. Now there's like, I'm trying to think, it's been a little while since I counted, but I think when I originally counted, it was like a handful of DSP that carried over actually. So anyway, that's not here. These are just bundles. And of course, they're no longer bundled. So when they carry over from their original catalog to a new catalog, they aren't bundled, so you don't save that 10% anymore. So you can still buy them, but they would be separate stamp set and tool. All right, so then page 81 shifts from what we've been talking about with, you know, first it was the Suite collections, then it was bundles, then it was Encore products. Now it's Stampin' Techniques. So first it, of course, talks about the different types of stamps we have, which the catalogs always have in the past. And then it goes into some different types of stamps. Like I'm going to skip page 82 and 83, but that talks about reversible stamps, or what they're calling double play. Then there's 84 and 85 Picture Perfect, which are image and sentiment only stamps. Then you have 86 and 87, Step It Out. So like 2-step stamping, and then we get to page 88 and 89. And this is about scenes, and I love scene building sets. So I think, first of all, this Under the Moon set is really interesting, something kind of different. But then over here on page 89, it's talking about how you could use stamps or dies. You could make a card, like for instance, with the stamp set, day or night, and you could do different seasons. So with the same set, do summer or winter. So it shows the versatility and the different techniques you can use to really expand and therefore build the value of your purchases. By the way, little nod to Barbie and Ken. So all these different stamping techniques. On page 90 and 91, we have our background stamps. And this was one of our gifts at Onstage, which you may have seen me get. And so in that swap I did recently with some friends here in New Jersey, this was the card I made, if you haven't already seen this. I'm using that background stamp and a technique with the brayer to kind of get the ombre blend, which is reflected in, remember, the ombre paper from the Thoughtful Journey Suite. I think it's the Thoughtful Design Specialty DSP is the name of that. So those were my swaps, using that background stamp. On page 92 and 93, I've already mentioned the $1 Million Sales Achiever sets. There's a few highlighted there. There's lots more. Again, you can see all those on the website. I'm going to start to skip a few things, but starting on page 96 and 97, we shift to Reasons to Craft. I'm just making sure I haven't missed anything. Yeah, okay. Reasons to Craft. And so one of them would be thanking. And I do want to take this time to thank you. First of all, we have a big thank you, which is really another background stamp, even though it's not on that page. And then this My Small Business stamp set, thanking you for supporting my business, which is what you all are doing here tonight, just even by showing up. You don't have to buy anything to be supportive. I so appreciate you just showing up and giving an encouraging word, or, you know, clicking the like button, subscribing, following, sharing with others who you think would be interested. Any of those things are so encouraging to me. So thank you, really, truly. I may have to get that stamp set to actually put that on ink to paper for you. All right, so I mentioned it earlier, but on page 98, we see the Designer Series paper assortment. So these come in all the color collections. I'm looking down here on the bottom, but I have the one here for the new in colors. And again, we've talked about the new in colors. You've seen the new in colors. If not before tonight, I want to know your favorite. If you haven't already told me, I told you mine, peach pie. But here they are, and you can see the different patterns. So you have kind of the floral leaf pattern, and then you have this kind of geometric pattern. I think looks kind of beautifully like indigenous art. And then on the other side, you have the dots and the stripes. So those are the new patterns. So all of the color collections would come in those different patterns. All right. I'm running out of things to show you, which is good because I'm running out of time. We need to talk prizes, but there's still more in the catalog real quickly. So on page 101, I just wanted to point out that some things will be hiding in plain sight, like the tools you're used to. So don't flip through and be like, where's the paper trimmer? Where's the scoreboard? They're still being sold. Don't worry. You can find them in the online store. They're often hiding like in the corners and things like that in some of these kind of sample, it looks like someone's crafting table pictures, like the scoreboard right here. So we do still have a lot of those basic things, almost all of them. I mentioned kids earlier and said that that would come up again on page 102. You have the acronym CRAFT, which they are saying is create really awesome, fun things with kids. So you have some ideas for things you could do maybe with younger crafters. And then on the next pages, 104 and 105, craft for your kids. So that's fun. Again, kits are a great way to do that, but so are some of those kind of more childlike, whimsical sets. On page 106, they brought back an invitation stamp set, which I think is really good to have. And they have this really cool, again, it's all about inspiration, I feel like, this time around. More so even in the past, because it's not like it wasn't before, it's just more so now. So 10 reasons why you might want to make your own invitations. So guess what some are? Tell me in comments, what would you be most likely to make invitations for, or at least send invitations for, even if you weren't making them? Think about it. I won't read them. I'll just let you think about it and say, and then you can check it out on page 106. Let's see. Some other ideas that like I don't tend to think of. Crafting for your home. I mean, I do like home decor, but these are some different sets and ways to do that. Like they have this Rest, Relax, Enjoy set that has, bath products. And I think what a great way to make a card or some gift packaging to give someone a gift like that, like to give someone, some nice soap or a candle or something like that. Or the other From Our Home set would be great for like housewarming or, greeting new neighbors or so many different things. Page 110, 111, we have all of our metallic products, which is an interesting way of grouping those. And you'll see some new and some returning, I think new products there. Then we get into, on page 113, ribbon. I was going to tell you my favorite new ribbon, but I actually haven't seen any of the new ribbon in person yet. So I will just, I saw all the new ribbon in person on stage, but I didn't use any of it yet. So I'll just say my favorite, although it is returning currently, it would probably have to be this one here. Number 8, let me see, black and very vanilla large check ribbon. So I really like that one. Elisa, you make the wedding invitations for your 2 daughters and matching thank you notes. Aw. I did that for my sister's wedding. I did more crafting for my sister's wedding than I did for my own. Maybe that's for the best. On page 115, and 114, we have easy embellishing, all the embellishments. And I'll tell you, honestly, my favorite new embellishment, I think, are those in color resin dots, which we'll come back to here at the end when we talk prizes. On page 116 and 117, you might think this is boring, although what a cute name, Sticky Business. It's all our adhesives. But again, they're giving us so much more to work with when we craft than just to use this to pick out the product we want to craft with. So they have this chart, which adhesive is best for my project. And they have these little icons for cardstock and paper, ribbon, embellishments, die cuts, and 3D projects. And then as you look through the different types of adhesive, you can see by the symbols which one is best for what. Great. I mean, great not just for beginners, although especially for beginners, but I even sometimes wonder about that. And then we have crafting techniques. So we had stamping techniques, which of course require stamps. Now we have crafting techniques, which are not beholden to stamps. I'm just double checking that I haven't missed anything that I wanted to talk about at least, because again, I am skipping some things. But after reasons to craft, I think, yeah, this is where we want to be. So the first crafting technique are watercolor techniques, and they're not just showing us general watercolor techniques or one watercolor technique. They're showing us like at least 4, as well as a stamp set that would be great to use for that. But of course, there's others too. And they have some watercolor must-haves listed here. So this is where you might also see some carryover, kind of basic products. And then on the next page, we have techniques. Sorry, they're all crafting techniques, but we have fun folds is what I meant to say. So we have, well, they're calling this a fun fold. Okay, so yeah, so it's fun fold interactive cards, because we have this fun fold, which is like a Z fold, a peekaboo card, and let it slide, so an interactive card. And again, a stamp set, but then honestly, more than the product, they're showing us different things we can do with it. By the way, trimmer. Even though it doesn't have listed there the name and the price and all of that, but it's there. Then on page 122 and 123, we have shaker cards. And again, lots of different examples of ways to do shaker cards. You can put sequins inside. You can put punched paper pieces inside, die cut paper pieces inside. So really, really versatile. Is that the right word? I mean, like a lot of variety of not just techniques, but then almost like versions of the technique, I guess. Page 124 and 125, and I feel like I'm skipping stuff, but I probably have to at this point anyway. But I do want to just check. Yeah, I'll go back to that. So page 124 and 125, we have 4, again, not 1, but 4 techniques for masterful masking. So that could be using masks or making your own with the masking paper, or even sticky notes, whatever you have. Then page 26 and 27, terrific texture. And this is where, again, be watching out for these symbols. So that's one of those template symbols, remember that? And this card is that template. So you can kind of see what a card ends up really looking like when you're using that as your design template. By the way, quick note, there are only 2 items, I think, from the new catalog that are not currently available. They are delayed And those are the new packages of embossing powders. So I think it's basically the same embossing powders we had before. There's a metallics and a basics. Although it looks like the basics might have one different color. It might have like beige instead of clear. Or that probably is just clear. And that's why it's beige, because the background's beige. Never mind. So it's probably black, clear, and white. And then for the metallics, copper, gold, and silver. So those are on slight delay. If you're interested, let me know and I can tell you when they're available. All right. Before we go to the next type of product, I want to go back because, again, I wanted to show you those little symbols, and I missed one when I was talking about home decor. I got distracted with home decor. So there's a little symbol here, which we're going to talk about in a minute. That's not a card template. That's a color theory option that maybe this card used. Or actually, that's not a card. This framed piece of home decor used. Another great gift. So again, be looking for those little things. It's a lot easier to do maybe in the hard copy, although I love my PDF version digitally. I use iBooks on my iPhone, and I find sometimes I want to like do this to the hard copy because I'm so used to doing that on my phone. You can also bookmark things and search for things, although of course you can do that in the online store too. But page 128 and 129, these are our embossing folders, so check those out. Again, you'll see new and carryover embossing folders there, including the hybrid embossing folders. I'm skipping a little bit because I'm getting to color theory. So I love color theory. I was an art student my whole life until college, and of course still love arts and crafts, hence handcrafted gifts. But on page 132, they've given us a color wheel. So you might have seen my color wheel from Onstage, which, by the way, if you want your very own 3D version of this, they are going to make one to sell by the end of the year. It will be slightly different just because I don't think we'll have the in colors, which means it will just last longer because those retire every 2 years, of course. And it'll add basic beige, I believe, to the neutrals listed on the back. But it talks a lot about color theory on the back. A lot of that, though, you see in your catalog. So it talks about how you can do monochromatic style cards with just one color and the one next to it. Those are called color buddies. Things like Calypso Coral and Petal Pink. You can do complementary color combinations, which are opposites essentially. So basically blue and orange, purple and yellow, green and red. But they've done, you know, kind of like a burnt orange and a green blue. And so it doesn't look quite as wild or like Flirty Flamingo and Garden Green, so it doesn't just look like Christmas when you have red and green. Analogous colors are a lot like monochromatic, but maybe more, so like 3 in a row, for instance. Like they have Real Red, Calypso Coral, and Petunia Pop. It's not necessarily color buddies, but all in that same like section of the color wheel. That's, I think, the little image I showed you on the home decor page. And then triadic colors. So those are kind of the 3 that make up either primary or secondary colors. So primary colors are red, blue, and yellow, and they're called primary because they aren't made up of other colors. But the secondary colors are. So you use, sorry if you already knew this, but some people don't. That's why this is helpful. You use blue and red to make purple, and you'll find those between blue and red on the color wheel are the purples. You use red and yellow to make orange. Again, that's what you find between red and yellow on the color wheel. And then you use yellow and blue to make green, as you see on the color wheel. So I really love this first combination. It has some of our new in colors, Summer Splash, Peach Pie, and Berry Burst. Those would be a good secondary color combo. And because it's not just like standard kind of maybe like royal, or in Stampin' Up's words, regal purple, orange, and green, it doesn't look like Halloween. Because if it's just like kind of pure green, pure orange, pure purple, that tends to look like Halloween. Just like if it's pure blue, red, and yellow, it can look like a nursery, like a kid's playroom or something. I think of like building blocks and stuff. So anyway, so you can use the color wheel to kind of find those different combos that you like. And then starting on page 134, we get into the color collections. So we talked a little bit about this earlier, but you have the subtles. I loved this personality test that Stampin' Up had on stage. If you haven't seen that on my Facebook page, find my product playground posts. There was one day where I posted like every hour all the different stations of the product playground on stage, and one of them was about the color collections, and there was like a fun little way to decide, do you resonate with these colors or those colors, and what does that say about you? I was in neutrals, which means I'm good vibes, apparently. So yeah, so we got the brights. I think those are the party people, if I remember correctly, the regals, and the neutrals. Like I said, that was the one I most resonated with, or at least aspire to be. I aspire to be good vibes. I'd love to hear which one you are. Again, go check that personality test of sorts out. And then we have the in colors as from this year, 2024 to 2026, and then the ones that carry over from last year that'll be through next, because they're the 2023 to 2025. We also have our new color here. So check out kind of the basics. We've added basic beige, which I have right here to show you. So I know my lighting is not always the best. I hope you can kind of see. This reminded me a lot of Sahara sand. So I pulled out a piece of Sahara sand, but look at the difference. I hope you can see that. Sahara sand is a lot darker. I mean, it's not dark, but it's a lot darker than basic beige, and it's a lot more gray. In fact, I was looking at it and I was like, did I accidentally pull a gray? I mean, it's kind of taupe. And certainly against the grays, it would look a lot warmer and not look as gray. But against the beige, it looks more gray to me. So the beige is quite light. I really like it. And of course, Sahara sand is retired, so you might not even have that. You might not have even heard of it if you're new. Basic beige is a great new basic neutral. So not part of the neutrals collection, but just along with our very vanilla, our basic white, our basic black. By the way, when are they going to start calling it basic vanilla? Because everything else is basic in that section. All right, and then we've always had an index, but now that the catalog is organized differently, I feel like the index is a lot more useful. I don't think I ever really used the index before in the catalog, but now I've been using it all the time. So starting on page 140 and only to page 141, even though it's like everything, they fit it on 2 pages. Way to go, Stampin' Up. So it goes by category. It's alphabetical, but by category. So you have adhesives, then you have embellishments, and then under embellishments, you'll have different types of embellishments. Then dyes, and so on. The sections that I have found really helpful are under paper and packaging. First you have cards and envelopes, cardstock, but then you have designer series paper. And so that's where, again, because that's my favorite product, you can see all the designer series paper, and you can see, you know, it lists the new ones and the returning ones. And then it lists even more types of paper, like the ephemera packs, grid paper, masking paper, accents, boxes, specialty paper, watercolor paper, window sheets, but it's all under paper and packaging, all alphabetical. And then eventually you do get to the stamp sets, which of course can be useful. That's really the only thing I was using the index for before, but now I'm using it for a lot more. I think you might too. It's also where if you're like, again, if I hadn't pointed it out, like, where's the paper trimmer? I did that. That's why I keep using that as an example. I was like, is it in there? I know they're going to still sell it, right? But it's not in the catalog, is it? Well, you'll find that here under tools and storage, and it'll tell you which page number it's on if you want to go see it. And it'll also tell you the item number. So you don't have to go see it. You can just know the number to order it. But again, the online store is going to be really useful. Like earlier tonight, I looked up designer series paper and I sorted by newest. So I could see all the new ones first. And then when I started to recognize them, I realized that those were the online exclusives or the carryovers. And so that was really helpful to me to be able to see it all in one place, like we used to be able to in the catalog with a lot of things. We're just going to be doing that more online now. All right, so believe it or not, there's only 2 pages left and I still have more to say. What time am I at? 9:02. Okay, so I'm just going a little bit over, not too much longer, but I know you want to hear about prizes. So real quick, on page 142, it talks about the opportunity to join Stampin' Up! By getting a starter kit. And I'm just going to pull up some notes on my computer, but I want to remind you here, if you don't already know, I know a lot of you watching live at least are my demonstrator friends, and thank you for your support. But if you don't already know, and my demonstrator friends, please like join in. Like, what do you love most about being a demonstrator? There's so much to it, and it does not require anything. And I know that sounds too good to be true, but it's not. I would tell you if it wasn't. But I'm telling you, it is true that there is no obligation. If you don't meet the minimums for the quarter, which is $300 in sales, whether that's money you spend or that others spend with you, then you just drop. But there's no consequence. Stampin' Up! Isn't even disappointed in you because it's whatever you want it to be. So maybe for 3 or 4 months, which would be that first quarter, and actually I think they give you like through your first full quarter, so you could end up with even more than that. But at least 3 to 4 months, you can get a discount. You get the early access, the sneak peeks. You get, I mean, my favorite thing, honestly, is the community, like going to Onstage and these special events. But even if you don't go to the special events, because that was the first time I went to one, the people you meet and the relationships you build with them, which you can, of course, do without being a demonstrator, but there's so much more to connect on and so many more opportunities to connect when you are a demonstrator. There's training and support and other sources of inspiration that only demonstrators have access to through our special website. So there's really so much there for you. And May, I wanted to say March, I'm going back in time. May, this month, Stampin' Up is doing a starter kit offer, which I think a lot of you will be very interested in because everyone loves the new in colors when they come out. And so right now, in addition to the normal starter kit deal, which is $99 for $125 worth of product that you choose, so you're already right there getting $26 free. And you do have to pay the tax, but you get free shipping. So that's another, shipping is 11%. So that's, I can't do that math that quick. I really should be able to, but that's another at least $11 free in free shipping. Plus you get a free paper pumpkin kit and free business supplies if you want them. But again, if you don't want them, you can recycle them, give them to a local demonstrator near you. If I live near you, pass them along to me. But in addition to all that you always get, they're going to give you, and I'm reading my notes here, if I can find them. Okay, they're going to give you 4 of the new 2024 to 2026 in color products. So you're going to get the classic Stampin' Pad bundle. That's a huge value. You're going to get the 8.5 by 11 cardstock pack, which is going to be an assorted pack. So it'll have how many sheets? I think it'll have 4 sheets of each of the 5 colors for 20 sheets total. You're going to get that 6 by 6 DSP stack, which I showed you. I think that's going to have 5, am I right? No, that's going to have 8 sheets of each of the colors. So 4 each of the 2 designs. Hope I'm doing that math right. And then you're gonna get the Stampin' Right marker assortment. So I think it's like over $80 in additional product of the new in color product, which a lot of you are probably already wanting to get it for free. So anyway, that deal is going on just through May for those extra in color products. Let me know if you have any questions about that. You can join on stampinup.com, just select Hannah Bird as your team leader. And then on page 143, it talks about rewards, which are free product of your choice that you can earn based on the spending of you or a group of people that you get together. And so that's nothing new, but if you have questions about that, let me know. It can just be a way to make your spending go further or to share it with more people who you think would enjoy doing that with you, whether it's crafting together or shopping together, whatever the case may be. So giant QR code on the back for the online store. I think I've talked enough about why that's going to be even more important than it's been to us in the past. And of course, the online store goes everywhere with us. I don't know if you take this everywhere with you. I do in digital form, but I almost always have access to the internet on my phone. It's almost always with me, and so the online store is really, really convenient. So this still has its benefits too, but again, I think the benefit of this now is primarily inspiration, whereas the benefit of the online store is primarily shopping. So I think that's all I had for you, except for to mention prizes. So let me talk about that. So the prize that you do not have to buy anything for, surprise, surprise, I've mentioned it explicitly, I think at this point, maybe a couple times, are the new in color resin dots. So you and someone you invite can earn these. So it has to be someone new who's not already on my invite list. But for every new person that you invite to the party, and don't worry because you're like, the party's over, you have this whole month to invite people, and all they have to do is comment on the video, whether they find it here on Facebook, or I'll probably hopefully share it to YouTube, wherever they watch it. Just have them comment so I know they watched, and let me know who invited them so I know who to give credit to. But then you both get entered for a separate prize drawing. So it's not like the more people you invite, the less chances you have, because now you're competing with them. The more people you invite, the more chances you have, because you get entered for every new person you invite, and they get entered for being invited and participating. But they do have to watch the video, this video, and comment that they did, and let me know who invited them so I can make sure to give both them and you credit. So I hope that makes sense. Ask me questions if it doesn't. And you can both win these new in color resin dots. Resin dots doesn't sound very exciting, but look how pretty. 2 different sizes. I really like that they're matte finish. I like them. They remind me of sherbet. Very good for summer. And then the second way to win prizes is by purchasing. So for every 40, and I should say, if you don't love this embellishment as much as I do, I know I said it was my favorite, but it might not be yours, you can substitute for a product of equal or lesser value of your choice from the catalog. So there's that. And then for every $40 you spend in product of your choice this month, again, the month of May, I am going to give you one of the new in color ink pads for free. I'll add that to your order. So again, if you already have those, or maybe you want something else instead, you can choose items of equal or lesser value for that as well. And it's every $40 you spend. So if you spend $80, you can choose 2. If you spend $120, you can choose 3. Now these offers cannot be combined with other offers. So like this wouldn't be combined with the join offer. That's something separate. Or like a host offer, that's something separate. And again, if you have questions, just let me know. But basically every $40 you spend before shipping and tax, you'll get a free new in color ink pad or item of equal or lesser value of your choice. And for every new person you invite, you and they will get entered to win this embellishment or something of equal or lesser value of your choice. So you have until May 31st. I think that's how many days are in May. May 31st to get those orders in, get those invites and comments submitted. And please, like, as you're watching this on replay, do comment. I want to have more conversation. I love those who were able to be here live and conversing tonight. I think there were less people tonight. Maybe it wasn't a good time. And that's all right. I had more to share than usual, so maybe it worked out. But I would love to keep the conversation going throughout the next days, weeks, months, as people find this later. And let me know, like, what are your favorites? What do you have questions about? I so enjoy talking about this stuff, as I'm sure you can tell. But I will stop for now because I've gone over about 10 minutes. So thank you for watching. Those of you, the couple of you who are still here live, thank you for watching. I will hope to talk to you all another time soon. But until then, happy crafting.